Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So, I don't know how many people have been following the show. I think it's kind of interesting seeing different ways to write these characters. I don't like the show personally. I don't like the way Peter's characterized. I don't like the Tombstone plotline. I don't like Norman Osborn being Peter's mentor. It's just stupid. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about the show. I figured just check it out for review purposes. It's like there's not much else going on these days with Marvel stuff. I'm not really reading comics anymore. Motor comics, I guess. It's funny, right? Because I feel like I see more Miles Morales comics at the store than Peter Parker Spider-Man, which is kind of sad. So I'm gonna go through the episode, and for future reviews, I'm just gonna do more of like a live commentary type of thing. Because remembering these episodes, it's a chore. So this is episode 3. I'm gonna go through the episode again. So I actually kind of like the theme song and the opening credits because it reminds me of course, the early 1960s comics. I just don't like the animation. I just don't like at all. Like they just like were closer to like a Spectacular Spider-Man style. I think I like it more. Norman Osborn, his mentor, is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Harry Osborn's retarded. Lonnie Lincoln is a black guy now, apparently. In the comics, he has a skin disease that makes his skin pale when he becomes Tombstone. I don't know what else happened to him to make him like indestructible or whatever, but these days with prequels, you gotta over explain everything. Just look at Disney Wars. Now, the last episode, Norman Osborn revealed that he knows Peter Spider-Man. And this they kind of explain it pretty well as to how we figured it out, which I'm okay with. But at the same time, it's like, well, I still don't like it. There's no one freaking Osborn. We know who he's going to be. Once they don't make him the Goblin in the show, can't possibly be considered to be Spider-Man with his mentor turned into a crazy person. But I'm like, I was talking to Revolution, and he's like, reminded me of the Sonic Spider-Man games, where Octavius was Peter's mentor, then became crazy. So I'm like, yeah. I started thinking about that more. I'm like, yeah, it kind of feels that way, exactly. I know Peter's life has always been like tragic-ish, so I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah. Personally, I would have preferred if Captain America had been Peter's mentor, but I never liked the idea of Tony Stark mentoring Peter Parker, even in the comics. I know he pretty much idolizes Tony Stark and Cap, but Tony Stark ain't really going to teach him nothing because in the movies, he just tries to bench him every time. Tells him not to use his powers, don't take down the crazy vulture guy, don't help out the other heroes when they go to space and all that stuff. Yeah, the only thing that takes me out of the show is the animation. It's terrible. But I mentioned before, like Norman Osborn's design, especially his hair, makes more sense as an African American version of the character, I think, in the 90s series. The 90s series to me just didn't make sense with the hairstyle. This actually makes more sense to me anyway. So this is the scene where Osborn is going to explain how he figured it out. Well, I think it's in this scene, or his name is back at Oscorp. Apparently, Norman Osborn is now like appear in the modern comics, which is why I don't read them. That type of stuff just annoys the crap out of me. Now he's trying to backpedal, say like, "Oh, maybe you got it wrong, Osborn. Maybe someone else is Spider-Man, not me." He always does that after he gets caught. Then the assignment games when his dumb ass was at the freaking lab working on a suit instead of taking his stuff to his apartment where he'd have more privacy. You were just thinking some spider work at the lab and hope that Octavius doesn't just randomly show up at his lab. So now he's showing him the footage that Tony Stark showed him in Civil War. We stopped the truck. Like this show's version of Harry Osborn, I'm like, is there really supposed to be a guy? Because I'm confused. And so they have this ridiculous subplot with these random characters here. Never heard of them. They just seem like regular street thugs. And then you get this tech from some random person who can assume it's Octavius because these dumpsters walks up the side of the building or something. They get this tech, this couple, and for some reason they're able to overpower Spider-Man. Spider-Man, same guy who can bench press a truck on his shoulders. These two nobodies are able to overpower Spider-Man. It's straight up retarded. And so they're right in line. Lincoln is like this popular dude, and apparently, I'm gonna assume they're gonna try and like tear him down slowly over time, I guess. So basically, they're making him actually Harry Osborn because Harry Osborn and Peter are friends, and their friendship declines over time. Harry starts doing drugs and whatnot. I think it's when he starts taking the Goblin serum, and they gave him a brother. So then we got this, of course, a freaking African American family and all this stuff going on. Of course, his brother's in a gang because why wouldn't a black person be in a gang, right? It's either a gang or prison. Those seem to be the two most popular stereotypes when it comes to African American people. It's pretty funny. It's not the case in every case, but it's pretty funny. So long story short, he goes after his dumb brother, tracks him down to a warehouse, runs into the gang leader, and basically decides to switch places with him and join the gang, which is probably going to lead to him, quote unquote, becoming Tombstone. Meanwhile, Peter's getting his ass beaten by these two nobodies that have no business beating him up. And we do this all the time with these powerful characters. Thor, Superman, Spider-Man. We never see what Batman. Batman will fight the same characters and kick the shit out of them. Barely break a sweat. Superman will get his ass tossed across the city like a ping pong ball. Just like in the new Super Friends trailer. First shot of the new Superman movie. There's him bleeding, wheezing, coughing in the Arctic. So we have to call his freaking dog to save his ass. Take me home, Crypto. I got my ass beat again. So this dude has super speed with his tech, no other action, no actual powers. Spider-Man has spider sense, strength, agility, and he's supposed to be really smart. But once again, we do this is another iteration where we do the old. I can't do it on my own. I need to have a freaking someone tell me how to use my powers. Because after he gets his ass beat by these idiots for no reason, Norman Osborn is talking to him in his ear in his earpiece or whatever. I start telling him how to use his powers. And it was probably maybe the worst part about the Flash series from the CW, and later on with Arrow, because nothing annoys me more than, especially smart heroes, being told what to do by people with no powers. It's stupid. Like now, all of a sudden, as soon as Osborn's telling him how to use his powers, all of a sudden he knows how to fight these guys instead of figuring it out on his own. It's pathetic. And then the episode ends with Lonnie Lincoln switching places with his brother, joining the gang. I mean, it could be interesting seeing where that goes, but personally, I don't think the writing is there for it. This to the end live. This episode was decent, I guess. It was not my favorite of the show so far. And this show has a very strange release schedule because they're releasing like 3 episodes a week, so it's kind of tough to keep up. But basically, there's two subplots in this episode. Peter going up against these two nobodies with stolen tech. I'm assuming Octavius is the one that gave it to him, master planner type of thing. And then you got this other subplot with Lon Lincoln, Tombstone in the comics, who has to save his brother from a gang and then ends up taking his place in the gang, which is probably going to lead to him becoming Tombstone. Something's going to happen. In the comics, he has a skin disease, which makes his skin pale. He's not an African American person in the comics. That's why I'm like, as soon as I heard his name, I'm like, wait, Tombstone? Is it what? So just, yeah. I mean, the show is, I don't know, just strange. It really is. Because they got a lot of nods to the MCU, which the show is not set in the MCU. The way he gets bitten is the spider drops from a freaking portal or something and bites him on the neck. So it's not even doesn't go to ESU. There's no Kirk Connors. There's a female Connors lady or something. He's going to get a female wizard for some reason. I think there was a nod to Professor Warren, the Jackal, maybe. There's no Mary Jane, there's no Gwen Stacy. Her husband looks like a freaking woman, so I don't know what they're trying to, what message they're trying to send with that. But not in the MCU, which is the strangest thing. We never saw Ben Parker, so Peter never learned power and responsibility. There was no wrestling match fight in the first episode of the series, which means he shouldn't even be wearing that mask because he has no power and responsibility. If he has learned that lesson, he shouldn't be wearing that mask. Should be gone so Spider. That was the of the whole point story. So I think the people that made this show are confused and they don't really understand Spider-Man comics. Peter's characterization, I think, is completely off. And this, I think they dumbed him down. Nothing wrong with making it for younger generation, but it's unfortunate that the younger generation is going to have this as potentially first exposure to the character. Because I think it's completely inaccurate.